Jeff, it was a while ago when you played Miami. I mean, what has changed about their team, and can you take anything from that December meeting into tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't think we can take anything into the meeting, until the game tomorrow. It's two teams that are very, very different. They've been hit with a lot of injuries, probably more so than anyone this year. We are a completely different team. At that point, we had 13 scholarship guys. And so we're excited about the opportunity to play them. They're a talented team. Wong has been one of the better players in our league as an All-ACC guy. Brooks has come on of late and has really, really played well. Michalowski a talented guard. Their kid that got eligible just like Nike the same time we did, Elijah, another talented guy. And so they have talent. They haven't won. They've haven't won as much as I'm sure they would have liked to, but they still are a very talented team, especially on the offensive end.
Yeah, Jeff, there have been some comments recently with some coaches talking about what they're expecting from the transfer portal this year, as far as the sheer number of guys in it. During a season, in which in-person viewing of high school players has been, I guess basically non-existent. How much more important are you expecting, or I guess how much additional value are you expecting transfers to have this year when coaches look to fill out their rosters and build their teams?
Well, I don't think it's going to be more important. I think it's going to be as important as it has been. I mean, this has been a trend that's been growing, for the past 4 or 5 years. It seems like there are going to be more maybe this year, but I think you could probably say that any year. It's been more every year. So I wouldn't say it's going to be the most important or more important than it has been, but I think it's going to be very important. I think coaches are always looking, where can we get good players to fit what we want to do? And there are more options now maybe than there ever have been because of guys being able to transfer and most likely being able to play right away, and the grad transfer thing.
With the dead period being extended here so much, you can obviously, I guess, still talk with guys on the phone or text with them, but what have been the logistical challenges of recruiting during a pandemic?
Well, it's been a lot. You can't go out and see guys. Can't do home visits. Excuse me. You cannot have people visit your campus. And so the relationship building, all those things are just very, very different from how they are normally. That's probably been it. I mean, everything is on Zoom, FaceTime, text, phone, and things like that. If you watch a kid, maybe their games are being streamed. You can watch them there. But that in-person connection that you get going to the game, seeing them in person, seeing how they interact with their teammates live, seeing how they interact with their coaches, having a chance to maybe go to their home, watch how they interact with their families, bring them to your campus, watch how they interact with your players, with you as coaches, seeing them in that environment, all that's gone. And that's a challenge.
Jeff, how crucial are those interactions when you're trying to find the right players?
They're important. They're really, really important. As coaches, you want to try to gather hopefully, as much information as you can about the kid, not just about him as a player, but him as a person, and to see if they fit. And so it's important, and something that's really, really missed. I know we miss it.
Coach, are you or the assistant coaches planning to do anything differently or act any differently on the sidelines tomorrow based on what's happened over the last couple of days?
No.
Jeff, Onye Iziakudo, walk-on, has earned more minutes recently, even got the start against Clemson. What is it about him that enabled him to get the start, and what message do you think that sends to the rest of your scholarship players, seeing a walk-on earn his way into the starting lineup?
Very impressed that you know how to pronounce his name, because I still don't know how to pronounce his last name. So I'm really, really impressed with that. That's why you always hear me just refer to him as O. But, he got the start because Femi was late to practice, and that's why he got the start, but he earned it. He's helped us. He's played some really, really good minutes for us. I think he's as respected as anyone on our team for how he shows up every day, how he works, and how selfless he is in trying to help us be better.
Jeff, I think you had added Oni. I want to say it was maybe like January of your first year there. How did he first kind of come on your radar? I think that he was, was he working with the team in some kind of capacity before as a practice player? I had forgotten how everything went. How did he first kind of catch your all's eye?
Yeah, I think my first year, we had open tryouts, and I don't think we kept anyone. But he caught our eye then. And I think we started using him, if I remember correctly, as a practice player. And then he was doing really well, showing up. Just doing a heck of a job for us. And we decided to have him become a full member of the team.
Jeff, with Justin winning the first team All-ACC, I wondered if, given your personal history with the conference, that you're maybe able to impart some meaning to him on just sort of how rare it is to win that and the quality of player that historically that aligns with.
Yeah, well, we're excited for him, happy for him. I think it's well deserved. His body of work for the season garnered the selection. And so we're really, really pleased for him. I certainly do know the history of this league and having a chance to be on any of the all-conference teams, especially first-team all-conference. I don't think he fully can grasp that right now. That's not something I want to try to convey to him or talk to him at length about. That's something when the season's over with. Right now, we just want to try to continue to extend our season, and our focus is on Miami and what we have to do to try to beat them.
Jeff, when did you know that he could be at this level, that he could be a first teamer in this league?
Well, I thought last year, towards the end of the season, the second part, as he started to really play well and have some big games, and then I knew, depending on the type of summer that he had, that he was going to have a chance. I thought to be, one of the better guys in our league as the season started. And especially, the Northwestern game and the game right after that, where he had the back-to-back 20-point, 20-rebound games. That's when you knew, something's happening with him that's really unique. And he continued to play at a very high level, although he got hurt and missed a couple of games. When he came back, he played at a really, really high level and has done it. I think he's been as consistent as anyone in our league. I think he's been probably the most consistent guy individually in our league this year.
What's it say about him when, after the injury, he just kind of jumped right back into being an All-ACC player, like almost right away?
Yeah, unique, man. He's a kid, like I said, it's really competitive. It wants to be good. If it were up to him, he would have played earlier. He was trying to, he was lobbying to us to play earlier, the game at Syracuse. Again, he's a really unique player. And I'm really, really happy for him.
Coach, with it being so long since you've played Miami, how do you think you match up with them now? The teams are completely different pretty much.
Yeah, they're a tough team to match up with, especially. I think they're very good offensively, and they have one of the best offensive players in the league in Isaiah Wong. He's a very difficult guy to defend. And he creates a lot of stuff for himself, obviously, but he can create things for others. And then they have two other guys on the perimeter with Michalowski and Elijah that can really score and put pressure on your defense. And like I mentioned, Brooks has played very well of late. Walker, is a kid that's really athletic, live body, and a super athlete. And so they can score it. They're well coached. They've just been hit with so many injuries this year. So again, we'll see how we match up. We're going to be prepared. We're going to play our butt off, and hopefully that's good enough for us to win.
Jeff, you said in the last few days, several days, that your practices have been very spirited. Is part of that the reason for that part because You had 9 guys play on Saturday. 9 of them scored at least 3 points. These guys know they're going to play.
I don't know if it's just that. I just think, sometimes when adversity hits and things happen, people rally around each other. And that's what I've seen this group do. They've been incredibly supportive of each other. They've had each other's back. They've been incredibly positive and excited to show up to try to get better each day.
Jeff, as you get ready to start the tournament here, how important was it to get Ithiel going again on Saturday? And what do you think led to, a little bit of a slump, if you want to call it, over the previous few games?
Yeah, well, we need him to play well for us. I mean, he's a good player, and he's shown that this year. We need him to make shots. We need him to take good shots, and we need him to be a solid, defender. And we know he's capable of doing that at a very high level. Why he's struggling, I don't know. I mean, guys go through tough spots, tough stretches. Sometimes as the season, goes on, guys get a little bit tired, a little bit fatigued. I think this year, unlike any, there's a different type of fatigue. It's not just the physical fatigue, but it's the mental fatigue of everything that you're going through just to be able to play games. And so it could be a little bit of that as well. But we need him.
Jeff,
I've never seen, I don't know if I've ever, this is good seeing you. Like, I always hear you, but to see.
Exactly. Good to see you as well, Coach.
Look like.
Jeff, first team ACC is obviously in an individual award, but I'm curious what Justin earning something like that. I'm curious what, if anything, that can do for you all as a program, where he becomes sort of an example or someone to a spotlight when you guys are trying to show what you're trying to build and what you think you can accomplish here.
Yeah, well, it's something we'll definitely use going forward with the current guys and with guys that we recruit. Hopefully it says something about our ability to develop. If guys buy all in, to what it is we're doing. Justin's certainly been a kid that's done that since we got him. He believed before he got here. We believed in him, and he's worked. And he's, not just taken the instruction, advice, things that we've tried to teach him. He's sought it. Like he's come, like he wants to be really good, and he understands it's a process. We have some guys in our program right now that weren't, highly ranked guys. Actually, the majority of them, all of them right now, were not highly ranked guys. And Justin can be a great example of, if you work, you listen, and you put in the time and the work, that, good things are there and they can happen.
Justin, from what you've been able to see from Miami in your scouting the last couple of days, is Michalowski coming back the biggest difference between when you played him the last time and now?
I think he makes a difference for their team. I think he's a really good player. Then I think it's the change of matchups, but I feel like we're ready for it. I feel like we want to go out there and we want to compete. We want to fight for 40 minutes, and I feel like that's what we're going to do. So I think that it changes the dynamic of the game, but I feel like we can still, get this W.
Justin, we had talked with Coach Capel a little bit earlier about sort of the kind of meaning that comes with with making first team All-ACC, given the conference's reputation and its history. Have you sort of, I mean, it's obviously, I guess, only been a couple hours here, but have you sort of been able to grasp that and sort of understand that?
I don't know. I mean, I'm happy I got the honors. I'm happy I got that, but my main focus is to win. I want to make a run at the ACC tournament. I want to bring this team farther than what we did last year. So, to me, it means nothing if we don't try and win. I'm happy that I got it, but my main focus is to win right now.
What's the biggest thing you've learned in the last couple 2 years since you've been at Pitt, Justin?
What's the biggest thing I learned, you said?
Yeah, in the 2 years you've been at Pitt, since you've been in high school.
I learned that what you did yesterday does not matter no more. I feel like I learned that you got to move on from every play. The past is the past. You can't change it. I learned that we got to fight together, and you can't do it by yourself. Those are the biggest things I've learned from Pitt.
Justin, how did you, first hear you were on first team, and, what was your reaction? Who did you call? Like, how was that moment like?
I didn't call nobody actually. I was happy, coach congratulated me, my teammates congratulated me, but I didn't really look at it as, oh yeah, I did it. I kind of, what I'm saying, I felt like I had this in me since last year, so I'm just happy I got to show it. My mom was the first person that called me though. My mom was the first person that called me.
Justin, what have you guys been figuring out amongst yourselves offensively the last few games? Needing to establish a new presence and who's going to score. You've seen Nike. We saw Ithiel come back a little bit in this last game. What do you think you guys have figured out, I'd say, the last week or so, getting ready for this tournament that you guys are feeling is a solid foundation on how you're going to score more?
I feel if we move the ball or, run our sets and execute our sets, I feel like anybody on the floor can score. I know last game Kareem had like 7 points early in the first half. So it's not a matter of like we don't need one dominant scorer, We just got to move the ball, play the right way, and everybody can get a piece of the pie. And I feel like everybody on the team can put up numbers. Like Nike could do it. We see Nike do it. CNIT do it. I could do it. I think Will can do it. Kareem. I feel we got a bunch of guys who could all score the ball that can help us, with our offensive end of the court.
Justin, you mentioned it in your first answer, but what's the vibe around the team, and what's the key for you guys to be able to make a run in this tournament?
Being together. That's the main key, is being together. We can't go out. We can't have those laps where we lose focus and teams start scoring and we get down. We do it as a whole. It's got to stay focused. But the vibe of the team is we're excited. We're ready to play. We're young still, but ready to fight. We want to go out there and give it our all.
Justin, we've talked with Coach Capel about this at various points during the season, but I was interested to get the player perspective here, given everything going on with the pandemic and all of the steps that have been taken for there to be a season. As a player, has it been hard at times, like, to kind of find and experience joy this season?
What do you mean, like off the court or on, like off the court or on the court? Like, what do you mean? Like,
I guess just with kind of the total college basketball, I guess just kind of with the total experience of playing college basketball, because I feel like a lot of the bonuses with that, like playing in front of sold out crowds, getting to enjoy like being around everybody, enjoying road trips. I feel like that's all gone, but a lot of the pressures and things are still there.
I feel like it's definitely actually way different. Like going from last year to this year actually has been different. You really see how much home crowds can help you. How much away crowds can affect you. But yeah, it's been off. I feel I really wanted the freshmen to experience that this year. I always tell them like, like these certain gyms, like it gets crazy. At home games it gets crazy. But at the end of the day, I told them like we're here to play basketball, no matter what the circumstances is. We're grateful that we could play this year. People put in a lot of work to get us to play. So I think that we're all just happy to get out here and hoop. That's just the bottom line. Fans are now just happy to hoop.
Justin, you just said some of it about what you're telling the younger players. I mean, you're the veteran statesman now as a sophomore, but you have a lot of freshmen on your team coming into this tournament for the first time. Are you the one giving them the message, and what are you telling them?
I feel like we all kind of like, they know it. Like they're not like our freshmen. They know that this is going to be a challenge. That this is not easy. Like the level of play changes. But coaches tell them. I try to tell them like it's not going to be easy. Like it's not going to be like a regular season game. It's going to be like basically do or die. Like because if you lose, we're out. So they know that it's going to be rough, and they know that we got to be together for the whole game. And I feel like they're ready for the challenge, and I feel like they're really ready to go out there and fight.
Justin, since the games are a lot more important this week, how do your parents decide which games to go to, St. John's or Pitt?
My parents, they can't make it out here to North Carolina. My mom got work, my dad got work. Julian's games, you can't even go into the gym because of the New York restrictions. But they said they're gonna tape both the games. They're gonna watch both of them. I know I'm gonna get phone calls from them probably later on tonight and tomorrow morning before the game. So I'm just happy to get to watch, and see us both play on TV.
Justin, last year in the tournament, you dropped a career high 31. Is this a stage that you're looking forward to a lot? I
love a big stage. I'm from New York. That's all we have is big stages. Back in high school, we had a lot of games where, like, you had to go out there and do your thing. So I'm excited. I'm always excited for a challenge, and I'm just ready to get out there and fight.
Justin, I'm curious, coming into this season, what did you want to improve or show about your game? And do you feel like as we get towards the end here, have you achieved that?
I want to improve everything about my game. I always feel like there's room for improvement. I'm not perfect. The best players in the world aren't perfect, so I already know that. I got to improve in every aspect of my game. But one aspect that I really wanted to improve in was keeping my cool. I know last year I used to get in my head when things weren't going my way. So I feel like that's one thing that I've improved on a lot this year, and that's what I'm proud of the most.
Justin, you see a guy like Onye, walk on your team, starting last game, earning more minutes. What kind of teammate is he, and what does that show you guys? Walk on, earning his minutes. What does that show the rest of you scholarship guys?
Got to work hard. I was extremely happy for O. I told him before the game, don't be afraid, don't be timid. You got to shot, take it. You got to drive, take it. You got to play, make it. I feel like O's a great player. I feel like he's worked hard. He worked as hard as anybody in the team, I feel. And I'm glad he got a chance to get out there and get on the floor.
Justin, as we're getting into the tournament and everything, can you tell us what Coach Capel means to you?
Coach Capel, I always tell everybody, Coach Capel means everything to me. He's a very honest guy. He took me in as a kid who was I wasn't really recruited highly. He gave me a chance to come out here and show what I could do, and I'm forever thankful for that. And I just feel like he wants it as bad as we want it. I feel like we all want it really bad. We really want to go out there and fight and get this tournament done.